7 days a week, 150 homeless men troop across Manhattan to pick up after New York's less than fastidious citizens. They're paid for their work, part of a program called Ready, Willing, and Able, sponsored by a charitable foundation called the Doe Fund.
The best way that you can help them is expect something of them. Tell them that you love them enough to put them to work.
They're a familiar eyesore in every city of any size, to be found in every season, sleeping in storefronts, on church steps, pushing shopping carts of collected junk, often drug addicts or alcoholics or mentally unbalanced. New York has more than its share of homeless people. What to do with them? House them, jail them, keep them moving? It bedevils every city government, both Democrat and Republican. One charitable organization in New York thinks it has an inventive solution. Put them to work. 7 days a week, 150 homeless men troop across Manhattan to pick up after New York's less than fastidious citizens. They're paid for their work, part of a program called Ready, Willing, and Able, sponsored by a charitable foundation called the Doe Fund, as in John Doe. While most New Yorkers are still asleep, the men's strict regime has already begun.
Morning. Attention, all RWA clients report to the main floor for urine testing. All RWA clients report to the main floor right now for urine testing.
Twice a week, the men who live in this Harlem shelter must submit to unscheduled drug tests. They must also pay rent, attend addiction clinics, obey curfews. The program is the brainchild of George McDonald, a do-gooder, but one with a heart of steel.
I'm saying that able-bodied and able-minded people, the best way that you can help them is expect something of them. Tell them that you love them enough to put them to work.
McDonald started working with the homeless in the 1980s.
Yeah, there's plenty of food. Everybody's going to eat.
Since then, scenes like these have become much less familiar in New York, replaced by scenes like these. Men in blue hard at work. All these men are doing this by choice. Most hear about it through word of mouth and through flyers handed out at traditional homeless shelters, places that offer them little more than a bed and a meal.
Including them into this system under which so many people have prospered is the answer to the problem. We've excluded homeless folks here in New York City from being part of our economic system. When you show them how it works, include them in it, and they prosper, you don't need a program for these people. After a time, it's America, and it takes over, and they do well.
The Manhattan shelter is but a very long fly ball from Yankee Stadium. It costs 1/2 of one Yankee outfielder's annual salary. $6 million a year to run this shelter. The money comes from a federal grant, a New York City contract, and donations from New Yorkers. The ultimate goal for these men is a real job outside the program and a place of their own. More than half of them have been convicted of a felony, and virtually all have long histories of drug abuse. It takes about a year to acclimate each man to the workaday world.
We have taken these folks who have these horrible backgrounds, and it's like you turn a key. Oftentimes people see homeless people and they think that they're mentally ill. They're disheveled, they look threatening on the street, and they're high on crack cocaine. That person looks like they're crazy. But the reality is that they have a substance abuse problem. Once you remove the substance, then you have a normal human being, and you work with that human being.
But it doesn't work for everyone. About half who come in don't make it, mainly because of drugs. But more than 800 men have completed the program so far, men who've found places to live and full-time jobs.
Ready, willing, and able means ready, willing, and able to work.
Supervisor John Spence, ex-drunken bum, lays down the law.
If you get caught fighting out in the street, in the Doe Fund uniform, okay, while you are working, your bags will be waiting for you at that door by the time you get back here, all right? The vans and the buses will be leaving here at 7 a.m. I expect you to be down here at 6:45.
We expect people to be to work on time. We expect people to take direction from their supervisor. We expect them to get along well with others and work hard, and we expect them to come back and do it all over again the next day. Because when they do it enough, have money in their pocket, don't spend that money on drugs, then they get into the system that the rest of us have.
Which means homework after work.
It tells you to write this number this many times.
Studying for high school degrees, learning how to write a resume, and sit for a job interview. When Robert Carter, strung out on crack, turned up on a cold night last December, education was the least of his needs.
Didn't have a coat, barely had shoes. The shoes that I had on at the time were falling off my feet. Literally, there was no bottoms on them.
When you started this program, what were your intentions?
I wanted a place to sleep, I wanted something to eat, and I wanted to be warm because it was awfully cold out there.
And then something happened.
In the first 2 weeks, something happened which made me, I started feeling good. I know I can't really put my finger on it, what it was, but something happened where I said, you know what, maybe I'll stay a little bit longer.
His first visit home after getting his first paycheck became a reconciliation with his father, an Episcopal minister. It was also the end of a sad father-son ritual.
We went through the same ritual. He was going into Richard and hand me $20, and I said, no, Dad, thanks, but no thanks. I'm okay. I'm happy. And I know what it felt for me, okay, but I had no idea that it meant quite as much as it did to him. He didn't say anything to me. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm okay, Dad, thanks. I have some money. I have my own money. He said, okay. I got back here, I called my mother up to let her know I was back, and she said, you know, Bob, she said, you know, your father was so proud. He said, he came back in the room and told me, he said, you know what? He said, I tried to give Bob some money, and he wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it. Well, I feel good about that.
Major step.
It's a big step. Small miracles, you know. Thank God for small miracles.
The men are paid up to $6.50 an hour. They pay back $65 a week to the shelter for room and board, and $30 a week is held back as enforced saving. When you guys worked in the street crews, what kind of things did people say to you?
Good job. Thank you for keeping our neighborhood looking good.
They treat you, say, with respect. And that's good for me. That's good for my morale, you know, because I used to not get that before.
Thoran Meekins, Bernard Jenkins, and Victor Cordova were not exactly a welcome sight to most New Yorkers. When you were living on the street, how would you describe yourself?
Well, I couldn't do any dial commercials. There was no dial in my life.
Where were you? What part of town?
Anywhere where they sell drugs. You know, that's where you put up your flag, so to speak.
How did people react to you when you were there living in the streets?
Well, it was like a tightening up of the pocketbooks and, you know, moving away from you as you came closer. Fear, basically, yeah, that's it.
How have you changed? I mean, in your appearance and your whole demeanor, your whole way you carry yourself, has that changed?
I think so. You haven't checked for your wallet lately.
Victor Cordova turned up after having served 15 years in prison. 15?
Yeah.
For what?
Murder, armed robbery, drug possession, drug sales. You name it, I did it.
But before prison, before you did your time, did you have a regular job?
No. All I did was sell drugs. Most of my life. That's
From
it.
age?
From about the age of 13.
When we interviewed him, Victor was working the early shift in the kitchen.
A lot of people might not think it's simple, but towards me, my life, it is simple. Okay, cool. Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the mess hall, come back at 12. Don't get high. I'm straight. I got money. That's what I put it. That's the way I put it.
You go to work every day now. Do you mind that?
I love it.
Love it?
Love it. It's a sense of accomplishment, you know.
You've saved some money?
Yes, I have. For the first time, I can say I can put my hands on my saved money.
Can I ask how much?
And it's a joy. $700.
What does it mean to you? I mean, $700 is not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
But it means
it's my world.
It's your whole world.
It's my world at the moment.
It all sounds delightfully simple. Homeless drug addicts turned into solid citizens. Well, it's not so simple. Are you ever tempted when you're out in the street? You see a guy who might be a dealer, you've got a few bucks in your pocket.
I've been getting high for 30 years, and then for me to say that I don't get that feeling in 2 months, I'd be a fool.
Thuran was being more honest than we realized. That very night he went out and smoked crack. He was allowed to stay, but was pulled off the street. His pay was cut, and he was given work inside. He was given a second chance. John McFarland needed no second chance. It may not seem like much to most of us, but to him, what he's accomplished is almost miraculous. He just finished a year of the program and now has a full-time job at a Manhattan garden center.
It's seen something I ain't seen before. You know, this is a life that I ain't never lived before. And I see how life really is now. You know, I wasn't living in life. I'm seeing what a life is today.
When you started the program at Ready, Willing, and Able, did you think you'd find a job?
Not at my age. I'm 51.
How much have you saved?
$7,000. And I only been there like a little over a year.
7,000?
Well, they give you just about everything you need.
So you save it all?
Most of it. I go to plays now. I hadn't been doing that before. Tonight I got tickets to the, what do you call, Carnegie Hall.
Carnegie Hall?
Yeah.
Even more important than Carnegie Hall was this hall.
I'd like all of the graduates to come up to the stage. All of the graduates to come up to the stage.
Graduation day for John McFarland and 175 others. People who found jobs and places to live and have stayed off drugs.
Melvin Alvarez.
They're not just from the Harlem facility, but from the other Ready, Willing, and Able programs in Washington, D.C., Jersey City, and Brooklyn. For Thuran Meekins, such a day seems unlikely. He failed that second chance and has been thrown out of the program. But failures like his do not dampen George McDonald's enthusiasm.
I want to tell you, people have this dark view of our folks, and I understand why. But these are wonderful men. These are wonderful human beings. They want to be fathers to their children. They want to be productive. They don't want to use drugs, and they need a structured opportunity.
Where are you 5 years from now? Describe where you are 5 years from now.
Well, 5 years from now, I have a nice job. I'll be married by that time. Have children, nice apartment. Be stable. No, I don't need no luxury things. Just be stable.
Where would you be without this program?
I'll probably either be dead or in jail. Because that's the lifestyle I was living. I'm gonna keep it real. I'll probably be in jail or I'll be dead. From the drugs or from me taking something for somebody just come out of nowhere, pow, and even shoot me in the head or something. But I thank God I ain't got to go that route. I'm here. That's okay.